Hey there guys, DMO73 here, bringing you some more spoiler coverage for the week. We are going to be seeing lots of different colors here in three, but primarily focused on like Knights of the Round Table. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So we have Avalon, the illusionary home of Knights, as an addition field for 2, and it just says Knights of the Round Table you control gain +2/+2. Plain and simple, just like that. It's really awesome. You can combine this with a Gawain, and suddenly you've got +4/+4 for your knights. Like, knights are going to be really. This is a card that if it sticks and there's, continues to be this lack of addition hate, this is going to be a very strong card. Knights are going to have this kind of boosting, and it's going to get to a point where, you're going to see some pretty crazy things happen with knights. Then we have Boars, the Returned Adventurer, a Knight of the Round Table, who is a 3-drop 6/6. And when this card enters your field or attacks, target Knight of the Round Table gains +4/+4 until the end of the turn. This can include himself, so he can target himself and pump himself up to being a 10/10 whenever he attacks. That's really awesome. Not only that, but when he comes into play, if you have like a Lancelot or something, ta-da, suddenly Lancelot is a 10/10 for the turn. You can also make Boars kind of trigger every single turn that he attacks. A lot of different things can happen with this, the kind of synergy of him boosting up himself or the other knight. I really like that. Also, just the artwork itself is pretty sick. Then we have Gawain, the Knight of Lions, 3-drop 6/6 for red, and as long as you control a beast, this card gains swiftness and first strike, and this card gains +2/+2 for every beast you control, and whenever this card attacks, it deals 200 damage to every resonator, so it just burns the field for 200, including itself, and then, stuff happens from there. And the reason why you kind of do that is because of Napping Lion, who is a 2-drop 8/8, and he cannot attack or block unless he is damaged. So you have, Gawain on the board, you swing in, does a little bit of damage to Napping Lion wakes up, and then goes face, for 800. That's really huge for a 2-drop. I also can see myself making use of this card with like Flame Sprite, ping it with a Flame Sprite for 100 damage just to wake it up and then, do some damage that way. I think this is going to be a very important card moving forward. Survivors of Sisay, it is a 1-drop 2/2 green card, and it gains +4/+4 as long as you control another beast resonator. So not anything like too flashy, but later on can be a 1-drop 6/6 if you have some beasts out. So that's pretty awesome. Then we have Yigdor, the Beast of the World. His artwork, just right off the bat, is awesome. He is a 10-drop resonator, so 2 green and 8 colorless. But if your life is 100, you can pay 8. You can literally play it for free. And blocking doesn't cause him to rest, so he can block multiple times. This is a card that you play in Yggdrasil. If that wasn't obvious, Yggdrasil puts you at 100 life after you would die, so then, now you're at 100 life, you've got Alice on board, and then you just go, okay, cool, now I've got Yggdrasil for free, and I've got a 14/14 that doesn't block that doesn't rest when he blocks. That's really strong. Before then he costs a lot, so there's not going to be really any way to hard cast him, at least really, but I think that's still awesome that we're seeing some Yggdrasil support coming out. Then we have the things that everybody was hoping for, Reflect and Refrain as a shift resonator. So we have Reflect, the beginning of time. It is a 1-drop green. He has Shroud, so cannot be targeted by spells or abilities, and for 1, you can put a magic counter on this card. The shift is 2 light and 3 colorless. It does not have instant speed shift or anything fancy like that, just a normal shift. And then it flips over into Refrain, the End of Ages, who is a 5 drops, a hard cast, which doesn't, you're probably not going to do that. 7/7, so decent stats. But for a flip, that's not really that great. For 2 will, you can put a magic counter on this card. And you can remove 4 magic counters from this card and nuke the board. Essentially, you destroy all additions, regalia, resonators, and J-rulers that are on the board, including herself. So keep this in mind that this is just a card that says reset. This is really, really powerful, because essentially with Reflect Out, if there's nothing, because it can't be targeted by literally anything, it has to be kind of generically hit. It does have that 200 defense, so that's not great. We do have ways to get around it. There's Soul Hunt, there's that new Fire edition that taps and burns everything for 200. Heck, there's even Yuane, that when he swings, it's just gonna kill it. But if you have some way to kind of keep it safe or something like that, I don't really know how you would do that, because it has Shroud. If you can make it stick, then you essentially just have an on-demand field nuke, a reset button. That is a really strong thing for control decks to be able to have, especially since he is essentially a mana sink, a will sink, to put counters on him. Like, oh, I didn't spend all this will. We'll put some magic counters on Reflect, and then we'll just kind of wait and see when we need to use it. One thing to note is you don't have Shroud on Refrain side, but still, having this kind of massive board wipe, this reset button, I'm really hyped about it. I don't think this card is overly difficult, overly powered in any way. We needed an effect like this. You have ways to be able to get around the Shroud here and finish off Reflect, and it does take time. Essentially is a 10-drop nuke the board card. You pay 1, you pay 4 magic counters, 4 to put magic counters on it, and then 5 to flip it over. So it's essentially a 10-drop. So that, I'm totally fine with the cost as is. But I'm excited to see kind of what control decks do with this. So then, this is actually from the spoiler article that was on Tuesday. I missed a card. I don't know why I didn't think to click on the card to bring it up for you guys, but this is actually from Tuesday's article. This is Allosaurus, the Avatar of Destruction. He's a 5-drop 10/10. He's a 12 Apostles avatar with swiftness, and when he enters your field, you can play a fire, spell chant, or spell chant instant card with total cost 3 or less from your removed area without paying its cost. Typically what you're going to see a lot of people talk about is the idea of playing Flame King Shout with Uther, because that's a really powerful combo right now. So Allosaurus comes in for 5, you play Flame King Shout, you play the Uther in your hand, you just burned to the board for 4, you now put out an 8/8, you burn the big thing that you need to deal with Uther, and then suddenly you've got an 8/8 with swiftness and a 10/10 with swiftness, possibly even stronger, since if you're probably playing this in an Allosaurus deck, your Uther could be an 11/11, a 10/10. I forget exactly what the stat bonus is, but that's huge. That's a huge tempo swing. There's a lot of potential for this card for sure in control decks. I think all of these cards are just showing us that the format is slowing down. It's becoming more of a mid-range kind of control format, and I am really hyped about it. But let me know what you guys think, because that's all we have for today. What do you think of Reflective Refrain? What do you think about the speed of the format, where we're going to be seeing it shift to? Go ahead and tell me what kind of decks you think you would run these cards in. I'm really excited to see all the new stuff that comes out, people come up with. And like, comment, and subscribe as always. And until next time, this is DMO73 signing off.